Welcome back to Collateral Consequences, Freedom's Fine Print, the podcast that exposes the hidden rules, invisible barriers, and overlooked realities that shape life after incarceration. Every episode, we pull back the curtain on the systems people don't see until they're forced to live through them. Whether you're a returning citizen, a family member, an advocate, or someone who simply wants to understand what reentry really looks like, you're in the right place. Because freedom shouldn't come with fine print. I'm your host, Larenzo, and let's get into today's episode. Imagine you've been away for 15 years, 20 years, or 25 years. You remember a world where you applied for a job with a paper resume and a handshake. You remember payphones and map books. Then you step out in 2026. You go to buy a bus ticket and there's no person behind the glass, just a screen asking for you to tap your phone. You go to a restaurant and there's no menu, just a little black and white box on the table they call a QR code. Suddenly, you aren't just a returning citizen. You're like a time traveler. The world moved on to high speed while you were still stuck in slow motion. If you don't know how to navigate a smartphone, you aren't just behind the times, you're effectively locked out of the economy. This is the digital parole. It's the invisible requirement to be tech savvy just to exist. I'm Larenzo. And today on Freedom's Fine Print, we're mapping the digital divide. We're talking about how to survive a 2026 world with 1990s tech skills and how to beat the AI software that's standing between you and your next paycheck. Here's the first piece of fine print. In 2026, your phone is your lifeline. It's your ID, your bank, your map, and your connection to your PO. But for many of us, a smartphone feels like an alien device. Here's the insight. Digital literacy is now a collateral consequence. If you can't navigate an app, you can't check your bank balance or manage your Medicare reentry benefits, this creates a new kind of supervision where if your battery dies or you lose your password, you're suddenly out of compliance. We're going to talk about why basic tech skills should be treated as a fundamental right in every reentry program, not an afterthought. Let's talk about the job hunt. In the old days, you could explain your situation to a manager face to face. In 2026, a human being probably won't even see your name unless you get past an AI filter. Companies use Applicant Tracking Systems, which is software that scans your digital resume for keywords. Now, here's some insight on that. If you don't know how to format a digital file or use the right keywords, the machine will just reject you before you even get to mention your background. This is where the unmarked path gets dangerous. You might think you're being rejected because of your record, but often you're being rejected because your resume didn't talk to the computer properly. We're breaking down how to AI proof your application so you can actually get an interview with a real person. If the digital world feels like a maze, here's your roadmap for today. The library is your best friend. The Sacramento Public Library offers free tech help sessions. They will sit with you and show you how to set up your email, how to use a QR code, and navigate a smartphone, all for free. Step 2 is about bridging the gap. We want to look for programs like TECH for Reentry. They specialize in teaching formerly incarcerated people the specific digital skills needed for 2026 life, from Google Docs to LinkedIn. Step 3 is the email rule. Get a professional, simple email address. one with your first name dot last name at gmail.com. Don't use the one you had back in, 1998 or whatever, because these emails act as a digital handshake. Now, if today's episode helped you, do me one favor. Share it with someone who needs it. You never know whose next opportunity depends on learning one piece of information they were never taught. And if you're listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, follow the show, leave a rating, and write a review. Those simple actions help this podcast reach more returning citizens, more families, and more communities looking out for real solutions. You can also follow the show on social media for updates, resources, and behind-the-scenes conversations that don't always make it onto these episodes. Here's something I need you to understand. Technology doesn't care where you've been. It only responds to what you know today. Every skill you learn is another door that opens. Every password you remember, every email you send, every application you complete, there's another step towards independence. Don't let the digital world convince you that you're too late. You're not behind. You just weren't given the same access, and access can be learned. Remember, the goal isn't just surviving reentry. The goal is building a life that's stronger than the one you left behind. I'm Larenzo, and this is Collateral Consequences, Freedom's Fine Print. Join us next time for episode 6, The Medication Cliff, Surviving the First 72 Hours under the 2026 Medi-Cal Reentry Initiative, where we'll discuss one of the most critical and often overlooked moments in the reentry journey. Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and keep mapping your way home. Because when you understand the fine print, you can finally start writing your own future.